Y'all ready?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today at Mar Dreaming Day 3. If you haven't joined us just yet throughout the first 2 days, we have a great treat for you. We have Nathan here and Claudia from Media Monks who are going to be talking to us about really merging the power of Marketing Cloud Personalization and account engagement. I'm super excited about this session. I'm sure Nathan and Claudia are too. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to them so they can kick things off.
Thank you so much, Marcos. Yes, and we are indeed very excited to be being here and sharing the solution with you guys today. So yeah, hello and welcome to our session, Creating Unforgettable Experiences with Marketing Cloud Personalization and Account Engagement. My name is Claudia, and I've been in marketing for a very long time. My passion is all things digital, including marketing automation, Salesforce, which I've first been introduced to about 10, 12 years ago now. Now, as a consultant, I help organizations driving growth with marketing automation and strategy across the Salesforce platform. I'm also leader for one of the B2B marketers user groups here in Down Under, and I'm a proud Salesforce marketing champion. And now I'd like to pass on to Nathan.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm a Marketing Cloud Personalization consultant, which I've been doing for a little over 2 years now. Before I joined the Salesforce ecosystem, I had a background in software development, data analytics, and product management. I'm really passionate about pushing the boundaries of various systems, including personalization.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. And before we get started, we would like to acknowledge our incredible sponsors. We wouldn't be able to run this amazing event without them, so thank you very much. In our agenda for today, we will start sharing a few top trends in personalization we found according to a recent Salesforce study. Nathan will then take you through our behind-the-scenes setup, showing you how we made MC personalization and account engagement talk. This will be followed by a demo and our take-home kit, which a few use cases we have been thinking of. We're going to get into some high-level topics for these platforms during the presentation, but also trying to attempt to build them from the ground up. So whether you're entirely new or a veteran, we hope that you can take something away, either way. If you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat and we will get back to you after the presentation. Thank you. So to kick things off, we'd like to talk a little bit about the top trends in personalization we found. Personalization strategies are still evolving, but marketers are making progress. Great to hear. Here's a look at the personalization landscape today. 94% of marketers believe that customers expect personalized brand experiences, but only 26% are really confident that the organization has a successful strategy in place. Why is that? Mainly due to poor data management, lack of organizational alignment, and lack of budget. The top three channels marketers are personalizing in are email marketing, mobile apps, and websites, while the top 3 personalization use cases are triggered messages, rule-based targeting, and machine learning. We're very excited to show you specifically examples for triggered messages today. The top 5 benefits of marketing personalization for organizations today are improved customer experience and brand perception, and increased visitor engagement, lead gen, and customer acquisition experience. And now I'd like to hand over to Nathan, who will take you through our behind-the-scenes setup.
Thanks, Claudia. I'd like to start by talking about the existing connectors between personalization and account engagement and why we were motivated to improve on them. So data today can go between personalization and account engagement through the personalization CRM native connector. However, this sync only happens nightly at an unspecifiable time, and we're somewhat limited with the type of data that we can send between the systems. Although we can get a lot from CRM into personalization, personalization can only send information like engagement score, time last visited, a comma-separated list of segments, and some things that the system determines on its own, which really doesn't give us the sort of control or timeliness that we would want to create the experiences that we're looking to create. As far as web tracking goes, the personalization beacon can be added to the website and can also be placed within the account engagement iframe forms in order for us to track form fills. But this creates some issues with the personalization event stream with events getting tracked twice. And this is really only useful for scraping new data. This doesn't really help us send data between the two systems. So what we were really looking to do was to recreate the triggered campaign functionality that already exists between personalization and Marketing Cloud engagement in order to create a similar experience between personalization and account engagement. So to show you what we've built here, I'd like to take you through a few scenarios. First, talking about a new visitor to the website, currently unknown in either system, and how they become known when filling out an account engagement form. Then, talking about a visitor that's known by account engagement but not personalization, such as when they've clicked a link in an email on a new device. Then I'll talk about this exciting part where we can send data from personalization to account engagement with a trigger-like functionality in real time. And then finally, talk about our full data diagram linking all of the different systems together. So, starting with a new visitor to the website unknown by either system, they are immediately, as soon as they land, tracked anonymously by both the personalization beacon as well as the account engagement cookie script. And then hopefully they will eventually fill out an account engagement form, which will establish them as an identified prospect in account engagement. Now, how are we going to get personalization to get this visitor's identity? Well, previous thought has suggested that the beacon could be placed within the iframe forms. I discussed a little bit about the problems with that. So instead, we can use message event code to send the information from the iframe to the parent frame where the personalization beacon is listing for it. Although message event code isn't a feature of either platform, fortunately, both platforms have the ability to write arbitrary JavaScript code, both within the account engagement iframe forms and with the personalization beacon script. So we can have the account engagement form send the data on that form fill both to itself and to the parent frame where the personalization beacon is listening for it. And the code to listen for this can look exactly the same as any other listener that a personalization developer would create. Just like you can listen for clicks, you can listen for submits, you can also listen for messages, and then this ultimately results in an event getting sent into personalization with that email identity, which establishes a named profile for personalization, which means at the end, we have known tracking for both systems. So, what about when the visitor is known by account engagement and not personalization? Which, for example, could happen when account engagement sends an email to a prospect. They open that link when they're on the go on their phone instead of on their desktop. And now using the link tracking functionality of account engagement, its cookie knows who this is, but personalization still doesn't know. So what we can do is we can use a web campaign in personalization saying, hey, personalization thinks that this is this visitor's first time ever on the website. We can use that to trigger this web campaign, which is going to show an iframe form from account engagement, but it's going to hide it. You can think of this as being behind the page. This is something that the visitor isn't going to see or know is happening. In the meantime, because account engagement already knows who this is, its cookie is going to be able to pre-populate the form with the email address and potentially any other information that it knows. And then, using that same message passing code, it can send that to personalization on this new device where it's listening for it and can establish identity for itself as well. Of course, if this was truly a new visit, then we wouldn't get any email and we'd just be operating anonymously. But since we do know who this is, now account engagement knows who it is, personalization with that form shown in the iframe, it knows who it is, and so we have, again, tracking for both systems. So finally, the exciting part, sending data from personalization to account engagement with a trigger-like functionality. Let's say we have some action that the visitor has taken that we want personalization to let account engagement know about. This could be high engagement in a particular category, which personalization could tell account engagement in order for it to start personalizing other channels immediately. Or this could be the visitor on the website starting some action that we really want to make sure that they finish, like starting out a form that we want to see whether or not they abandon. Regardless, something happens, personalization wants account engagement to know about it. So again, it's going to be creating this hidden form behind the web page, where instead of account engagement populating the form this time, personalization is going to be able to use the query parameters in that form link so it can populate it with the data that it wants account engagement to know. And finally, the magic that makes this all work is, again, that message event code, but instead of the message going from the iframe to the parent frame, this time it's the parent frame where personalization lives, sending a message to the iframe, where a fun thing that we can do with JavaScript is emulate a click on that submit button. So personalization can tell the form to submit itself and send that information directly into account engagement. Again, this is all happening in the background without the visitor ever knowing it's happened. So this brings us to our full data diagram linking the systems. We have our native connector between account engagement and CRM, which those of you who use account engagement are surely already familiar with. We have our native connector between personalization and CRM that has some limitations that I discussed earlier. We also have some newer ways to connect personalization and CRM. We have some lightning components, the older ways that we could show recipes and next best actions in CRM on the lead and contact objects, but also now, fairly recently, the ability to add affinities to those lightning components, as well as a view of the full event stream, which we will be showing off in our demo in just a second. There's also recently been added the ability to use flows in CRM, which can send activities and information to personalization directly, for example, when a record gets updated. And then finally, we have this new link between personalization and account engagement, where we're taking the personalization web campaigns, we're using account engagement forms hidden within them, and we are either having them populated with account engagement data pre-populated for personalization to scrape and look at, or we're having the form getting populated with personalization data via the query parameters on the form link, and then submitting the form so that account engagement gets the information from personalization. I'll now pass it back to Claudia to kick off our demo.
Thank you so much, Nathan, for that. And excited to show you now, take you through our demo now. So here we have the destined website. A user was actually looking on Google for marketing automation solutions and how to manage and recycle their leads, and they landed on the destined website, a Salesforce partner offering Salesforce implementation, strategy, and support solutions. The Marketing Cloud Personalization beacon that's placed on this site begins tracking this new visitor's browsing journey on the destined website anonymously, as you can see on the screenshot here. The user comes across the ebook and how to best recycle your leads on the destined website and decides then to submit this form or completes it and submitting the form to download the ebook. In account engagement, we can see that the user converted into a prospect and a submission has come through on the form. As part of the completion action, there is also a send autoresponder email action to send an email with a download link to the ebook. And then meanwhile, in Marketing Cloud Personalization, that account engagement form contained that message event code Nathan explained that sent the form information from the iframe to the parent frame, where personalization was now listening for it. It then takes that data and sends an event establishing the visitor identity, as you can see here. Back to our user, has received the email which was sent from the form completion, but he's on the go and he opens this email on a mobile device and decides to click a link back to the destined website to visit the website from the mobile device. And back to Nathan to take you through further.
Sure. Once the visitor lands on the website on this new device, personalization thinks they're anonymous. And so we have this segment for anonymous visitors who haven't had the campaign we're about to show. And in this campaign, we have that account engagement form URL that's going to get shown in the background of the website. So that happens. And because account engagement knows who this is, we're able to send an event, here it's called found account engagement email, back into personalization, establishing their identity on this new device. So now back on the device, the prospect starts exploring a little bit further, and eventually our goal is to show them this form where we want them to book a demo. So we have another segment for that for visitors who are not anonymous, have visited at least twice, and have viewed at least 2 pages today. You could theoretically make this as complex as you want. And then also saying that they haven't viewed this pop-up yet today and haven't submitted it. We now have showing the campaign here. And note that instead of 1, we actually have 2 different URLs for the account engagement iframe forms. One that's going to be shown directly on the page, that book a demo pop-up that we want the visitor to see, and another one that's going to be shown and submitted in the background. And I'll pass it back to Claudia to talk more about the form.
Thanks, Nathan. So yeah, as Nathan just explained, the personalization has triggered this book a demo form on the prospect's mobile device, and it pops up. The prospect starts to complete it. However, after a couple of steps, gets sidetracked and does not submit the form and books a demo. But while the prospect was considering to do it, at least, personalization did trigger and submitted a second hidden account engagement form, what Nathan explained, which sets this custom field you can see, MCP demo booking status, to start it via a completion action. This custom field update is then picked up by a record triggered flow you can see on the screen in Salesforce, and checks if the book a demo form was actually completed after 30 minutes. If that field, MCP demo booking status, still says started after this time, the flow then updates the same custom field to the value abandoned. If the book a demo form would have been completed by the prospect, you can see here in the completion actions that we would have updated that same field to finished instead. The book a demo status field abandoned populates then an account engagement list via an automation rule, and that starts an engagement program, with the first action being to send an email to them to remind them to book the demo. The prospect then goes ahead and clicks the link in the email, taking them back to the destined website, seeing the book a demo form pop up, as you can pick up in the URL, which will pass back to Nathan to explain this further.
Sure, thank you. In the URL bar here, you can see that the link that was in the email contained this query parameter, !book-a-demo. Nice trick that you can do in personalization is to target campaigns based on URLs. So here we have a campaign just saying we're going to show this pop-up if the URL contains book a demo, so that the visitor sees it. So now they go ahead and they have a little bit more time. They're back on the desktop. So they go ahead and this time, instead of abandoning the form, they go ahead and submit to book their demo. And we have in personalization, the same message event code. This time, personalization, instead of listening for it in the sitemap, personalization is listening for that within the campaign template itself. And this is important for us to be able to link the account engagement form submission back to the personalization campaign statistic tracking. We can see here in this event stream that the click action has taken place, which means that personalization has properly tracked that the campaign has been submitted, and all of the statistics around that will be tracked properly in personalization. So now it's time for our salesperson to actually give the demo. So here we are looking at that contact record in CRM, and we can see that Lightning component containing the affinities from personalization here, and then also the event stream from personalization. These two things can combine with the account engagement history that's on the right-hand side to just give the salesperson a more complete view and the best chance possible of knowing this person as they're giving the demo, to give them the best possible demo they can. Once the demo's done, hopefully it was great, and they can go ahead and check this little box in the bottom left there saying that the Marketing Cloud demo has been completed. In turn, that record update is going to trigger a new flow here, and this flow just has one action. It has a personalization action, and what this personalization action does is it's going to send an interaction to personalization saying had demo from sales. Once this happens, we can see this interaction in the personalization event stream, and you can note that this did indeed come from CRM by looking on the right-hand side and seeing that the channel is server instead of web. So now there's one more thing that we want to do with this prospect, and that's ask them for feedback on how their demo went. And so when they're back on the website, we're going to show that in a pop-up, and we want to make sure that they see that as soon as they're back on the website. We're hoping they're so excited that they get back on the website immediately after their demo, which means this isn't something that we could have done with just the nightly sync with the CRM native connector and personalization, because that would have synced nightly and wouldn't have been on the website in time for this visitor to get back and see this pop-up targeting. So using that flow in CRM is allowing personalization to know about this immediately so that when they get back on the website, they can see this pop-up asking them, hey, how'd the demo go? And the prospect can provide feedback so that if we need any more information to push them over the line and book with us, we can. But backing up a little bit, what if after that first email that they were sent, they still abandoned the form? They still didn't book a demo with us. Well, that engagement program had some additional steps. And you can see that rule there, sending them along a split. Back in personalization, we have this segment here saying account engagement Marketing Cloud interest. And what this is set up to do is as soon as the prospect has spent at least 2 minutes looking at pages related to Marketing Cloud, it's going to send that information to account engagement. We've just done this for one potential product of interest here being Marketing Cloud, but we could potentially set this up for a bunch of different products. As soon as that visitor has done that action, we're going to again have a web campaign that's going to show an account engagement iframe in the background of the website, so something that the visitor isn't going to know is happening. And something that we can do here, if we so chose, in this case we haven't, but we could add additional information to this as well. For instance, here I have an example with the first name attribute. Obviously, we already know the first name in both systems, but if there's some attribute that was populated, or we could do segments, we could do profile objects. Heck, we could even have personalization's Einstein create a product recommendation to send. There's a whole lot of information that we could send from personalization to account engagement in this particular moment. Again, that's going to happen in the background of the website while the visitor is browsing. As soon as personalization notices that they have that high engagement in Marketing Cloud, signified by looking at Marketing Cloud related pages for at least 2 minutes. And here we see the event stream showing and then submitting that form in the background. And account engagement picking up that form, which has an action set to change a field value. Here, the engagement in Marketing Cloud segment field value to true, which this is a view of that prospect. Scrolled way down, we have a bunch of different fields in here, but that engagement in Marketing Cloud segment then set to true, so that when we get to that rule in the engagement program, we can see, this particular person that still hasn't booked their demo has high engagement in Marketing Cloud. So I'm going to send them an email specific to Marketing Cloud, more personalized to what they were looking at, to hopefully encourage them to, again, come back and book. And like I said, we could include a number of these for different custom fields, for different segments, to really personalize these emails. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Claudia to give you some final thoughts and our take-home kit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining this demo. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks, Nathan, for explaining it all. Before we say goodbye, we wanted to leave a couple of key takeaway thoughts and use cases with you to start your thinking. So you saw in our demo specifically like how we've shown like how you can do abandoned forms use cases. But further than that, you could also consider like you can increase the return on investment of every site visit by showing the prospects with tailored content that your solution is right for them based on what you know about them, like their source, their location, their behavior, their history, and other data. As you saw that you can put complex segments together. If you do account-based marketing, you can improve that by recognizing and targeting those high-value visitors the instant they come to your website. You can then put the most relevant content and messaging in front of them immediately, such as also like some pop-up forms to collect some information. If you're running events and webinars, you can drive greater visibility of those in attendance to show them again to the right audience. Highlight them, aligning with the individual's interests and personas or geography to generate more registrations, showing them the pop-ups in front of them again. And collecting zero-party data also becomes much easier. You can ask them directly using personalized and targeted surveys on your website. The data is added to each person's profile, as you saw, to enrich the database and triggering then again personalized experiences in the very moment they are there, so that the person can engage with you. So a couple of key takeaways. Combining Marketing Cloud Personalization and account engagement allows for B2B personalization at scale. By leveraging the two systems for real-time campaign triggering and account engagement. So you can do that. You can place the account engagement form in the personalization web campaigns to create a pop-up to ask for information from prospects at the right time while the prospect is browsing the website. So connect the two platforms by leveraging personalization's beacon and account engagement's first-party cookie to exchange and submit pre-filled forms using the message event code and listeners in MCP sitemap and account engagement forms. That concludes our presentation for today. We hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for sticking around and coming to see this. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Well, everybody give it up for Claudia and Ethan. Thank you both for joining us. I know it's a little bit late where you guys are at, so appreciate that. If you guys have any questions in the audience, please put them under the Q&A tab on the right side of your screen, and we'll make sure that Claudia and Ethan get back to you with any of their options, any of their answers to your questions. We'll be launching a quick survey after, so please give us your rating for this session. It'll help us to make sure that it goes back to Claudia and Ethan to know how they did on this session. And of course, the session is recorded and the deck would also be provided later. So be on the lookout for that after the event. But with that, everybody say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.